Hi, this is Charles Jacobs. Welcome to our series on Boston's failed Jewish leaders. In our last video, we told you about one of Boston's most radical rabbis who supports extremely left-wing anti-Israel causes. Rabbi Toba Spitzer is the rabbi of Congregation Dorshei Tzedek in Newton, and she chaired the Massachusetts Board of Rabbis. Both are prominent platforms. Yet she embraces Linda Sarsour, the anti-Semitic activist. She said that American Jews are just too rich and that we need to give up our money. She said it's immoral for Jews to think that Israel is, quote, vitally connected to Jewish survival. And she said that support for Jewish sovereignty, the very thing that keeps Israelis alive and safe, should be subordinated to showing loving kindness to all, even, I kid you not, supporters of Hamas. Those are her words, not mine. Now, some people who know the rabbi wrote in to say they just don't believe she said these things. But everything we've said is documented from her own writings in published articles by our executive director, Ilya Feoktistov. The real question is why a woman who embraces the enemies of the Jewish people, is indifferent to Jewish prosperity, wants Jews to separate themselves from Israel, and who is awfully blasé about Jewish survival, how she became a rabbi in the first place. Well, thanks to Ilya's research, we know why. By her own admission, Toba Spitzer's parents were secular, non-observant Jews and committed socialists. Young Toba attended a leftist Habunim summer camp, which she described as, quote, heaven, a socialist Zionist fantasy land, where she would hold, quote, long meetings deciding when and how to distribute the food and money that we had all given into the shared communal fund. It was only in college that Rabbi Spitzer decided to appropriate the religion of Israel for her own worthier political purposes. Working in the early 1990s at the now-defunct Jewish Peace Lobby, the J Street of its time, and while listening to a speech on the radio by Dr. Martin Luther King, she had a eureka experience. She wrote about it. That's the language I want to be speaking, not just political language. I realized, she said, that I wanted to do my work from a Jewish moral place. I was very interested in economic justice issues and figuring out a Jewish voice around that. So, eureka. In a flash, it came to her how much more effective it would be to have a Jewish religious voice express her utopian socialist program. Toba Spitzer became a rabbi then, it seems, in order to better promote her left-wing politics. She was a secular radical who put on a kippah and tallis in the service of utopian socialism. Of course, the Jewish values that she preached are not Jewish at all. They are nothing more than tired 19th century socialist totalitarianism clothed in the garb of social justice and Tikkun Olam. Indeed, Rabbi Spitzer is the classical tikkunista, part of an entire movement in left-wing Jewish rabbinical circles which hijacks Judaism for socialism. The best book exploring this is by the Jewish scholar Jonathan Neumann, entitled To Heal the World: How the Jewish Left Corrupts Judaism and Endangers Israel. His thesis? That Tikkun Olam does not mean and has never meant what the tikkunistas who hijacked this Jewish principle tell the world it means. Judaism is not socialism, never was, and never can be. But Toba and her comrades use it to justify their willingness to sacrifice Jewish interests, and even Jewish lives, at the altar of Marxist envy and their utopian socialist dream. Toba seeks to blend the sanctity of her people's religion with the profanity of her own politics. The Jews should not let her. Stay tuned. For Americans for Peace and Tolerance, this is Charles Jacobs.